what stood out to you? I mean, there was a lot of big moments. Just the power Clifford has is jaw dropping to me. And we talk about this guy on the podcast. It feels like every single month, but that was a big moment. But I felt like the game was full of them.
Clifford jumping on a lefty fastball, 93 miles an hour, and lefty has given Clifford some trouble in the past, and just taking that ball straight away center. It was 106 off the bat and 449 feet. And if they had a little bit more of a zoomed out camera, I'd love to know how close it was to clearing the batter's eye. Like, that was a clear no doubter. What also stood out to me was all of the pitchers that got into the game. The Mets are building, and we talk about it on the show pretty often, a bit of a pitching factory. And now you have guys throwing some gas. Jonah Tong yesterday topped at 98.5. And in these parts, we round up. So Jonah Tong touched 99 miles an hour in my eyes. And last year, Jonah was topping at 95. And this spring, he's been more averaging that 94 to 96, touching 97. So this was actually a career high in any kind of format for Jonah as far as velocity. Jonathan Pintaro came in, the player signed out of independent ball, topped at 96 and showed some really good breaking stuff. Dylan Ross, coming off of Tommy John surgery, touched 100 miles an hour. Jonathan Santucci, last year's second-round pick, touched 97. And Mr. Eggs himself, Ryan Lambert, touched 99 miles an hour and had on his last fastball 99 with 23 inches of induced vertical break, which is that kind of ride on the pitch. We talked about that a little bit on the broadcast. If you look back at Major League Baseball last year, there was only one fastball thrown that mirrored that velocity and induced vertical break, and it was by Robert Suarez of the Padres. So just all around some special velocity and stuff from the pitching staff.
Yeah, it's clear that there's clearly legitimate development going on behind the scenes with the Mets at a rate that I'm not accustomed to seeing. Like, we've seen guys get into a system and fly through different levels, but the volume of it right now, Joe, is what stands out to me, where it's not just, hey, look at Brandon Sproat fly through the system. You have these, like you said, you have guys coming from independent ball that are finding a different weapon in their arsenal. Or Jonah Tong, who's listed 6'1", 180, and now his velocity is creeping towards triple digits. I mean, that's out of this world for a guy that wasn't taken in the first, second, or third round. So that was definitely, when watching the game, because you and I, we talk about so many of these guys week after week, but in a game where you're going to see that quantity of prospects, it was pretty cool to see, the deeper part of the system kind of get some shine, not just a first round pick like Benj, a guy with a lot of hype like Jet, even Clifford, who has developed a lot of hype because he's one of the prospects in the system that just has so much raw power. So I think the spring breakout game lived up to just about all the expectations you could have had for it. And once again, you guys did such a good job covering it, and a shout out to SMY for, really embracing an aspect of the sport that people want more coverage of. I mean, honestly, you see it across every single sport. Obviously, I do the NFL draft full time over at NBC. I know the NBA draft and NHL drafts are very popular. Now you're just seeing the overall farm systems of baseball, because you have the draft, which is high school and college players, and the international signing period grow so much popularity in the sport. And I think, Joe, for you, that just had to feel amazing, as somebody who you've jokingly said, like, when I was a kid, it was like you try to find information on message boards about prospects, and now you're doing it, for a network that literally is the affiliated network of the New York Mets.